Good morning. I've been up for, I think I woke up about 6:30ish. Um, I woke up briefly to go to the bathroom. I've slept like the dead, basically. So something interesting's happened, and I'm not 100% certain, but it looks like I'm onto something here, and I might be right, but it's early days yet. I've still got to do some testing, but it appears that I don't have a gluten allergy. Now, let me go into it. Um, a few months ago, I think it was actually when my boys were supposed to be coming round or something, and I bought some sausages, and then, everything happened and blah, blah, blah. So I had these sausages in the freezer that I just kept because I thought, well, like I'll give them away, or you never know, a miracle might happen and I see them again, blah, blah, blah. And then because I buy my gluten-free sausages, and the other day on Monday, I think it was Monday or Tuesday, I accidentally grabbed the sausages without gluten in it and ate them for dinner. I'm pretty sure because I keep their ones in the bottom of the freezer in the bottom drawer, and I put mine in the top, and I wasn't thinking, and I accidentally grabbed their ones and ate them, and nothing happened. So then yesterday, the supermarket accidentally gave me the wrong sausages because I wanted to make some of my beautiful homemade sausage rolls, because I make up a big batch and put them in the freezer to have, for dinners and stuff. And I thought, well, what am I going to do with these sausages? And then I thought, well, why don't you just try them and give it a go and see what happens? Because if I'm right, and I did accidentally eat the boys' ones the other day, that means that I've had two lots of sausages in a week. One obviously experimental and not because I'm lazy or greedy or anything. And if nothing happens, I maybe need to reevaluate this whole gluten allergy thing, because I had been told, oh yeah, no, that's probably a gluten allergy by a medical professional, and I just went along with it. This was back in 2016, and so I ate the sausages and nothing happened. So twice in 4 days, 5 days, I've had something without, with wheat in it, and nothing happened. So I did a bit of research. I started looking it all up. And firstly, I looked up all the signs and symptoms of a gluten allergy. And while I recognised a lot of them, I also recognised that a lot of them were also symptoms of narcissistic abuse. Remember, I did a video a few weeks back about how I found out that my fibromyalgia and all that was a result of narcissistic abuse, and I was really angry. So then I did some research into medical conditions that can be confused with a gluten allergy. And there were two that stood out. Like, none of the others I could identify with, but there were two that I absolutely could identify with. The first one, if you've suffered from severe post-traumatic stress, which is what I was diagnosed with, that's the one thing they diagnosed me with at the hospital when I was locked up. Severe PTSD can give you the symptoms of a gluten allergy, because it messes with your gut. And if I hadn't been locked up, I wouldn't have even known that I had severe PTSD, or that I was a victim of domestic violence, or that when he was trying to have the Shrek with me, it was actually against the law. So that's what I'm saying. There were good things that came out of me being locked up that I can't be regretful for, because my biorhythmic engineering, with a little help from my friends, and then they were gone. These were also, and I became an ordained minister, an ordained Indigenous reverend. I got my certificate of ordination, all while I was locked up. So the second medical condition that can give you false positives on a gluten allergy is gut bacteria. If you've had surgeries on your gut, it can leave bacteria in your gut that damage it, like messes with your digestive system, and gives you a false gluten allergy. Now, you know that I had those 3 hernia repair surgeries where I suffered from mesh rejection for nearly 6 years. And I was getting infection after infection after infection after infection. And it's only because I took the, oh God, what's it called? The stuff that tastes like the chlorine dioxide solution, that my infections went away. But the only reason why I had the mesh rejection and had to have so many hernia repair surgeries was because of my ex-husband. The first one I got because of my son, but the other 2 I got because of my ex-husband. Because the surgeon said, you are to sit for 14 days to let these meshes settle. You are not to lift a finger for 14 days. You're allowed to go to the bathroom and you're allowed to shower, and that's it. And he picked me up from the hospital and dropped me off and went back to work like that day, and left me with a toddler and a newborn. And my newborn was 10 pounds 6 ounces born, and I had my first hernia repair when he was 3 months old, and then I had another one 9 months later, and then I had my third one about 8 months after that. So I had 3 hernia repair surgeries in under 2 years, but 2 of them were simply because my ex-husband had left me with, I had to lift a massive baby, take care of a toddler, do the washing, do the housework, do the cooking, do the cleaning, all of it, because he went back to work, because he didn't want to take the time off to help me. So my gluten symptoms were all because of my ex-husband, it appears. And what it's recommended is to slowly start introducing wheat back into my life to see what happens. But see, because I've been taking, I was taking apple cider vinegar vitamins, but then I stopped taking that to take the oregano oil and black seed, and I also take the probiotic vitamins, and I eat probiotic yogurt. I think it's fixed my gut. I had a look at all the symptoms of the gluten allergy thingy, and some of them were like, and because then it said, if you have a gluten allergy, the symptoms start showing within 3 to 12 hours. And with me, it was always 24 to 48 hours, which is how long it takes for your food to digest. And so, yeah, and it's like, holy flip-flop, Batman. That I think because of my probiotic diet, because of the vitamins I've been taking, I took the walnut and the black walnut and something, because I thought, in case I had parasites and that, to flush everything out. And it appears that it's fixed my gut, and my gluten allergy wasn't real. It was all based on being a victim of narcissistic abuse. I had no idea that being in a domestic abuse situation caused so many problems with your health. See, my nails are growing. My nails are really healthy for the first time, ever. And usually when I dye my hair, I used to have to dye it every 8 to 9 weeks. And now I have to dye it every 3 weeks because my hair's growing so fast. My skin is incredible. And because your skin, the health of your gut dictates the health of your skin. Your skin reacts to what you put in your body and what you have around your body. So what they've recommended is try some sourdough. And if you don't have a reaction to sourdough, you don't have a gluten allergy. But if I've had gluten twice in the last 4 days without any reaction, then it looks like my allergy to gluten was because of my ex-husband Chris. The only thing that I was diagnosed with when I was locked up was severe PTSD. And they even said themselves, the doctor, I can't remember his name, it started with B, little African guy. He said, the only reason why we're not letting you out is because you don't have anywhere to go, and I'm worried for your safety. It's not safe for you to go back to that house. So we need to, get you out of here so you can get your own place and stuff. Because everyone kept going on about, oh, she's crazy and all of that, but I'm not on any medication. I'm not seeing any doctors. The other girls that I was locked up with are. That's because all the nurses in that fought in my corner. Not all the nurses, some of them horrible, but yeah, most, like the ones that were worth their weight, they were fighting in my corner and saying, she's not crazy, she doesn't belong here. They all knew who my ex was. Oh, does he do this? Is he like this? He does this, he says this, and I'm like, yeah, and they're like, yeah, it's him. One of them even said, oh, so he accused you of being crazy so he could have you locked up. He set you up, didn't he? And I was like, yeah. Even the paramedic said, yeah, you were set up, you were drugged, they drugged you. They definitely laced your weed, they said. That was the paramedics. So it appears, because I've been saying for ages, I'm starting to feel just incredible. The foggy brain and the fibromyalgia, and I said it's all gone now, and my memory's coming back in that. They are symptoms of gluten allergy, but they're also symptoms of extreme narcissistic abuse. And now, my memory's coming back. Even if I forget something, like short-term memory loss, all I have to do is just think and sit on it for a little bit, and then boom, it'll come back to me. That was never me before. And I feel incredible. I was saying to my son last night, when I was bringing up those photos of me yesterday, I don't even know who that woman is anymore. She's so far removed from who I am that she's like a complete stranger to me now. That version of me is dead. She died. I've been reborn into someone that I absolutely love being. I love this new life of mine. I mean, I want a bigger house. I want my boys. I want to be in America. I want to be building my school and that, but I'm getting there. And I think in order for me to be ready for all of that, I had to, God and my ancestors and all of that had to heal me first, because the old me wouldn't have been able to enjoy everything that I was building if I was constantly sick all the time because of the food I was eating. So when I have to get milk in that again, I'm going to buy some sourdough and I'm going to see how I go. And I'm telling thee, if this is fine and I don't have a reaction to it and I can go back to having normal bread and having fish and chips, normal fish, because I've only got a chippy across the road that I smell every day and it's murder, but they don't do gluten-free. And I refuse to pay 18 quid for a piece of fish that's like half the size of my hand because it's gluten-free from down the road. So I've just not had fish and chips since 2022, Christmas Eve 2022. So if it turns out I can have Chinese again, and I can have fish and chips again, and normal bread, I'll be happy with that. I won't go back to eating cakes or anything like that, but just to be able to have normal bread, and normal meat because and I'll save about 100 quid a month on my grocery bill, which means I'll be able to actually buy like proper meat again, proper food, because I won't have to worry about the gluten allergy. I'll be able to have normal, proper food. Fish and chips is the one thing fish and chips and Chinese, that's what I miss more than anything in the world. And normal bread, because gluten-free bread sucks. So the other thing is I've been looking into it, and I've decided I want to buy myself an electric typewriter when I've got the money, and you can still buy the ribbons and stuff. When I was teaching at Roslyn Primary School, I used to type everything up on an electric typewriter, and I absolutely loved it. And it's no different to a keyboard on a laptop and that, but ever since I walked away from, I didn't fight for Instagram and I didn't fight for Facebook, and I walked away from X and LinkedIn and all that, I'm so focused on my writing and my songwriting and my lyrics, and putting all the ribbons, tying everything up in nice little bows and that to get ready to hand to my script writers and my musicians and all of that sort of thing when I get out of here and get a place big enough. Um, I I want to, because we forgot the word to my laptop, and like I don't have broadband, and I'm not interested in getting it right now. I don't have a TV. I don't miss any of that. I have this peaceful, creative life where if I could sit out in my garden with some homemade lemonade and sit with my electric typewriter and just type my books out and type my stories out and that, I would be in heaven. I used to, like I said, do all the kids' assignments with the electric typewriter, and I was looking on eBay, and you can buy electric typewriters and you can still buy the ribbons for them and everything. So when I've got the money, I don't necessarily think I'm going to be embracing the whole laptop thing. I'll do laptops for the purpose of uploading my videos or whatever, but if I've got other people to do that stuff for me, I think I'm quite happy to walk away from digital. If I've got other people uploading my videos and doing the social media side of things in terms of what we're going to be advertising and promoting in that with the school and auditions and letting people know, where we're going to be for those auditions and that sort of thing, I'm quite happy to let it all go. I'll just have like a minimalist mobile phone so that I can do my text messages and make my phone calls. I want to go back to the traditional way of doing things, because in having done that and walking away from social media, it's simplified my life and brought me so much peace. And now I lay here and I'm studying music from the 70s. I'm already getting tunes formulating in my head for Dork the Musical, because Night of the Black Sun is nearly wrapped up. There's not a hell of a lot I can do with that now until I sit with my composer and musicians, so that they can help me pad out what tunes I've got and all of that. But the storyline's pretty much already solidified. I know how I want the scenes to go, and then the kids and my staff and that can help like fatten it up. The girl who stole, the girl who saved two kings, my opera. That's about 40% done. I know the storyline. The storyline is pretty much done. I've just got to compose the music and all of that. Then I can focus on the other things like Message in a Bottle, which there is no talking in that, but I can type the scenes up. I can get my books out. I can rewrite Lucian's Dragon, because I wanted to couple Lucian's Dragon with the Legend of Brehena Saithusa to turn his journey and her journey into one, collaboration, so into one coupling. So yeah, and if I'm not distracted by social media anymore, and I can sit with my electric typewriter. I'd just be at it all the time. I could knock this stuff out within a couple of months. I should have it all written out and typed out. And then I can photocopy everything and hand them to my script writers. Or, send it off to via digital or whatever. But at the foundation, everything's going to be done traditionally. You can send your emails and your text messages and that, but our scripts and stuff, I really want them to be done all by hand. I want everything to go back to the way it used to be. I don't want to rely on digital for every single thing that I do. And because the thing is that a lot of aspects of digital and social media and especially AI, they're starting to die out. People are rebelling against them, which is why AI is crashing and burning the way it is. Because any companies in any countries that are embracing AI, they've created a digital rebellion where people are turning away from dealing with all that sort of thing, which is it's making people lazy. And like, there are people who are refusing to accept assignments and job interviews and anything like that if they're done by AI. People on YouTube are blasting other content creators and that who are using AI for everything, and they refuse to engage and they're getting thumbs down. And so there's this mass rebellion against AI. And I had always said that the companies and the countries in that fully embrace the digital AI system are fast tracking their own devolution, because in the new world it's tradition, it's modern traditionalism that is going to take humanity into the future. But anyone who embraces the digital ID way of doing things will devolve, because they're putting people out of jobs. They're making people homeless. People are losing their properties, their incomes, their savings, their sanity, literally, because they use it to drive people nuts. And eventually, you'll have more people in a dysfunctional society surrounded by AI and the digital system, than you will people who are helping the economy and being productive members of society. So they're going to crash and burn. In the Bible, even, it says that anyone who embraces the beast system, which is the digital AI system, will go the way of Lucifer, which is just a dramatic way of saying anyone who signs up to things like Palantir and AI and Chatbot and Grok and all of that, it will seal their fate. Because it's not, they think it's evolution, but it's not. Anything that is designed to dumb down mankind and human creation isn't a platform for growth, it's a platform for self-destruction. And all of that can be taken out with a power cut. So then what do you do if you have a country that's completely run on digital AI, and you don't have paper money and you don't have real jobs and you don't have this and you don't have that, and you don't have access to food or to money, and that if there's a power cut, what's going to happen? There'll be a civil war. Because as soon as parents realise they can't feed their kids and their kids are going hungry and all of that because there's been a power cut or a bug in the system or a hacker or something like that, and they don't have access to their family on the other side of the world, or money, or to pay their bills, and their landlords are threatening to evict them because they can't pay their bills and that, there'll be a civil unrest. So if I'm gonna, I have to be the change I want to see. And it started with me not fighting for my social media. It started for me just spending time with myself and getting to know the new me, and discovering gifts and talents in that I didn't know I had, rediscovering a love for things that I forgot that I loved. And it's all because I walked away from the internet, because I walked away from social media. Everybody knows who I am now. Everybody knows what my plan is. That's regardless of whether I have social media or not now. So I'd like to, when I get out of here, I want to get my, or unless something happens and I've got the money, because I've got to get my passport renewed. I'm saving up to renew my passport, which is going to cost like $150. But after that, if I can get the money to get myself an electric typewriter, I've even got a ton of paper there. I got donated a ton of printer paper, a ton of paper, and then I'll just get like a pile of ribbon, and then I can just plug it in, and then I'll just spend all my time writing out my stories, just like I used to back when I was a teenager, working at Roslyn Primary. And then I don't think I'll miss, as long as I've got contact with my boys and my sister. I don't think I'm going to miss any of it. And then, like I said, when I get out of here and I get my studio and I can do my radio shows and do all the TV shows and that, I'll keep YouTube and that, and we'll have a social media for all the promotions of what we're doing. But see, once I build my IT company, I'm going to have my own versions of like YouTube and Discord and X, and I'll have my own social media, but it will be family orientated social media, where kids will be free to roam, other than specific sections where it'll be for R16, R18 stuff, but there'll be no sexuals. There'll be no, like, our policy will be no pornographicals, nothing sexual, nothing sexually explicit, no nudity. But some people like to post accidents, and there'll be no animal cruelty either. There'll be none of that sort of stuff. I want my kids, whose parents sign them up to my social media, to have free reign without having to worry about anything yucky. And then if anyone's been a racist or a douche or an arsehole or a bigot or whatever, we'll leave it up to the community to deal with them. Won't be bringing in the thought police. So it's just that I think what's happening is, with Trump and Musk being removed out the way, if my thing gets switched off, they're listening. With them being removed out of the way, I think Trump and Doge and all that were, and Larry Ellison and all of that, ChatGPT and that, were a huge wake-up call for America, that can never ever happen again. So they're going to reshape the political system as to the powers that a president can have and all of that sort of thing, and they're going to go back to the traditional way of doing things, when life was simple, where people were free to think without being told what to do or what to feel, without having their mind clustered by intrusive thoughts and negativity and rage bait and hate and racism and bigotry and all of that. And so they'll go back to the way it used to be. And I think that's what I'm walking into. I'm going to be starting or being a part of, if not helping to start, a dramatic shift in American culture, where we go back to the way it used to be, where instead of typing everything out on your laptop, you sit down with a typewriter. And if you do engage in social media, you're not going to be arrested for it, or hounded for it, or abused for it, or have it threatened to be taken away, simply because they don't agree with something you're saying. It's not up to any government or any company or business to tell someone what to think or what to feel. They're underestimating mankind's ability to make informed decisions for themselves and to have their own opinion. So if someone is being a douche on social media, like say with TikTok or whatever, and someone's lying or whatever, the people call them out for it. And that's exactly what's supposed to happen with social media. If someone is saying something that's offensive, or it's not up to the government or the police to step in, you let the people call them out. And the thing is, they're only words, and words mean nothing if they're not followed up by action. So you can say, oh my God, I hate that person, I want to do this, 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 and this. Okay, yeah, keep an eye on it. But unless they try to follow up on it, they're just words. And people need to recognise that when someone is going on about how much they hate someone, or that they want to do this to them or do that to them, it's usually a self-reflection thing. But we need to be living in a world where the people govern themselves and their own communities. Because people are really good at recognising pretty quickly when someone's been a douche or not, when someone's just an arrogant, or, a bit unstable or a bit whatever. But like I said, words mean nothing if they're not followed up by action. And trust me, I know, because I'm surrounded by people that talk about what they want to do with me and what they're going to do, and, this, that, and the other, and then don't follow up on any of it. Actions speak louder than words, basically. And I'm around people who are all talk and no action. So it's the exact same thing on social media. All talk, no action. If there's action, then sit up and take notice. But otherwise, it's different. If I just was watching a video about someone who put his man part on a loaf of bread when he was working at Subway, that's different, because that's action. He actually did something that was offensive, that needed to be for the safety of, for the sake of public safety and for hygiene purposes, and that, working in the food industry, he did something. He took upon it himself to do an action that needed to be called up on. But if he just said, oh, you never know, one day I might put my man part on it and blah blah blah, that's just talk. So I'm just having a sip of my coffee. So yeah, so I'm going to buy some sourdough in a couple of days when I need my milk, and see what happens. But it appears my gluten allergy was misdiagnosed. I was never tested. It appears my gluten allergy is a result of suffering from severe PTSD, which was diagnosed, and because of my hernia repair surgeries and the mesh rejection that I had for 6 years, chronic stomach infections. And then I think it was exacerbated, when I got because I was starved and poisoned and had the refeeding syndrome, and that, it absolutely messed with my gut. And then I started taking the oregano oil and the apple cider vinegar tablets, which I then stopped taking when I started taking the oregano oil with the black seed in it, and the probiotic vitamins, and eating probiotic yogurt. It has absolutely transformed my life. I was saying to my son, I can feel like I've had no exercise because, like, until it's safe for me to leave, I don't really get out much until I know that it's safe. Like, it's fine when I got my boys with me, but until I know that these people are off the street, I'm very weary when I go out, and I miss so desperately. Like, my son and I were talking about, going for long drives in the rain. How I love going for we both love going for long drives in the rain and walking in the rain, and I haven't been able to do that in years. I haven't been in a car for years. Um, I miss going for walks in the forest, and walking along the beach and that. I miss going for long drives. And but I was saying to my son that I just, how do I put it? I don't want to go back to who I was. I don't miss any of it. We were talking about the swearing. He was saying, you know, I don't mind, because we were talking about this video game he was playing and the amount of swearing and stuff in it. And I said to him, he said, you know, it's all right if you swear, Ma. And I said, I don't want to go back to that. I used to be very foul mouthed. But I said, because I wanted to be a version of myself that was presentable to investors and to the children and all of that, it required me having to not drop the F-bombs and the C word and all of that, because that was just an angry version of myself that I was masking as comedy, as intelligence, as whatever. And I know they say that people with high IQ swear a lot. I don't necessarily agree with that. But I said to my son, I've changed so much in the last 4 years that even with the little amount of exercise that I get, because of the way that my body is healed, I can feel when I sit and I stand every single muscle in my body. I feel like I power lift. I feel like I weight lift. I said to him, I wouldn't consider myself to be lean because I've still got little pockets of skin in that swimming will resolve within a few months. But I feel quite athletically built now. Like, you know, when I'm laying down on the bed and I go to sit up and I see like the muscles bulging from my legs, but my legs are very long and slender, but the athletic and kind of tight. It's an incredible feeling because I've got my diet now to like peak conditioning, and I'm clear headed and I'm away from all the bollocks and there's no drama and there's no noise in my life. It's like my body's just gone, oh. And now, by just releasing it all, the last layers that I had have been shed, and out of it has come this woman that I don't even recognise, and I love every part of her. I got a little bit of skin under my arms that, like I said, swimming, that nothing that swimming won't fix. I need to retrain myself to walk again. I walked into town to go and meet my son, and like my legs were killing me for 2 days. So, but that's only because I haven't been out in so long. But in being made to have to sit and not go out, I worked on myself. Like I cleaned myself out literally from the inside out. I tweaked my diet. I studied my reactions to food and all of that, and I've healed myself. So it appears, other than medical allergies to like all medications, anything chemical, I'm allergic to all antibiotics. I'm even allergic to anti-inflammatory gel. Gives me asthma. Um, I have to keep myself physically fit because if I get an infection, I can't have antibiotics. So it looks like it's just egg now. Whereas, like when I was starved and I had refeeding syndrome, I couldn't eat. I was allergic to nuts. I was allergic to the only fruit I wasn't allergic to that didn't have citric acid and stuff in it was apples. And you know, I live on fruits and vegetables and stuff, and I couldn't have anything. It was horrible. I lived on brown for nearly a year, and then slowly started reintroducing it. And then knowing what all the symptoms are for a gluten allergy, knowing that I've had sausages with gluten in it twice in 4 or 5 days, I don't have any of the symptoms of a gluten allergy. No spots, no rash, no sore throat, no nothing, no digestive upset, no nothing. It's all returned to how it was. And so that it means that other than my egg allergy that I was born with and my allergy to medications like antibiotics and vaccines and painkillers. I can't have painkillers. I can't even have paracetamol or aspirin. They make me so ill. The only yeah, all my allergy symptoms and that I was told I had have completely vanished, which means I was misdiagnosed with things. So now I've only got my egg and pharmaceutical allergies, and that's it. I'm still, it's early days yet, but I'm going to buy some sourdough bread and see how I go. And if I don't have any symptoms, I'm going to go across the road and try some fish and chips. And then if I don't have any symptoms for that, I'm going to be taking a big risk doing it. Then it appears that it was all because of my ex-husband. All my medical problems, other than my allergy to eggs and pharmaceuticals, was all because of my ex. The only pharmaceutical thing I can take is antihistamines. However, having said that, the oregano oil and black seed works like an antihistamine, and I'm not even needing to take my antihistamines anymore. I've been on the oregano oil now for 3 months, I think, and the probiotics is coming up a month. So I'm going to be having a probiotic diet now for the rest of my life, and I will be taking oregano oil for the rest of my life, because I'm 53. I'm 54 in November, and I said to my son, I feel like I'm 20 and I've got the body of a 20-year-old. Like, I feel like I've got the body, I've got a better body now than I've had at any point in my life. You can see my muscles, but like not in a unhealthy way. I look like somebody who works out, and yet I haven't left the house in how long? I stand, and like I said to my son, my stomach is hard, solid. Like, it's not jiggly and wobbly, and all I've done is eat the food that I eat, which is going to be a fantastic promotion for my supernatural food range that I'm going to produce and sell. And sell in my store, because all the food that I'm eating that's changed my life and cured me of so many medical issues, it's all stuff I make myself from scratch, and it's all stuff that I'm going to be selling in my supernatural food range, which will be available when at my store, the Alchemist Cavern. You'll be able to buy it online. I'm going to have like a fridge and freezer range. I'm going to do like a whole dairy range. I was talking to my son about it the other day. And then, if I'm lucky enough, I can maybe get in with some of these supermarkets and supermarket retailers in America, and get some of my products put on the shelves there. So yeah, some of my food range, hopefully you'll be able to buy on the supermarket shelves in other stores, not just mine. Because my food is clearly working. I call it supernatural foods because it's supernatural, as in like it's super organic and natural, like extra natural, extra organic, but it's supernatural because it heals you as you eat it, like it's magic food. And I'm the example of that. And even my boys say when they come here and eat my food, they feel incredible for days. They said even they have to admit there's something in my beauty products, my skincare range and my food range, that's out of this world. And that's coming from teenage boys. And they're like, yeah, I've got to admit there's something about what you make. Like, even we feel the difference. So I'm the walking embodiment of my skincare products and my candles, because I'm still working on my candles, but I'm tweaking them every time I build a new batch, and my food. Great investment, and I'm going to be the poster girl for it. And if it turns out that my food is going to help people diagnose that they've been misdiagnosed with gluten allergies and food intolerances and stuff like that, then that really is supernatural food. So if my story can help people heal their bodies through their diet, then it was worth it. The weight loss, the exercising, documenting the whole thing, like all the pain and suffering and sore bodies and the trials and errors of dealing with so many health issues regarding to narcissistic abuse, all of it will all go into my Supernatural Food and Supernaturally You range. And then people will be able to eat my food and use my products, and like me, if they don't get out much, they're still guaranteed going to lose weight because I'm still losing weight. And I think I eat like a pig. It's just that what I eat is healthy and doesn't have sugar in it, but it doesn't mean to say I still can't have cakes and cookies in there. I just bake them without sugar in it. And I've got a whole cookie range to go, with my Honeybee Club and my Mary the Fairy books and all of that. Like, I've got a whole biscuit range or cookie range if you're American. Like, I've been perfecting my recipes within an inch of their lives. And 90% of them don't have sugar in it, including my chocolate. And then I'm going to have a candy corner. And I'll have, like, my sweet treats and all of that you can have guilt-free. So for people who are morbidly obese, who don't get around much, they'll be able to eat all my food and eat cookies and chocolate and not miss out on any of the good stuff and lose weight. And I went from a size... when I started, I was a size 28, 28 going into a 30, and I went to a size 18 within 8 months and a size 14 within a few months after that. Like, I bought a size 18 pair of jeans, and it was only like 2 months later I had to buy a size 14. It just melted off me. And it's only been the last couple of stone that was the hardest to get off. But I've just been very lucky that because I exercised as I was losing weight, I didn't have to. Well, the surgeon said that I must have really good genetics when it comes to my skin, because I'm one of the very few people that's lost all that amount of weight that won't need skin removal surgery. I said after everything that I was inflicted with in my life, the least thing that God could do was, because I have a phobia of hospitals anyway, so that's the least he could do. I'm going to give you all this crap, but when you lose the weight, at least you won't have to have skin removal surgery. So, yeah. So just I had to share that. So if anyone out there thinks they have a gluten allergy or were told they had one, but they were never actually tested, you might want to look at other underlying medical symptoms. Were you a victim of narcissistic abuse? Did you have any stomach surgeries where it could possibly be a bacteria instead? In which case, now you know what to do. So there you go. So I just had to put it out there. So I've got to go now because I'm expecting someone. I had to put it out there. Oh, I can't wait to get to America. I really can't. I just was saying that I'm ready to fall in love. I'm ready to be in a relationship. I'm ready to be with someone, but I'm not prepared to compromise for it. If I can't meet someone who isn't on board with who I am, who isn't supportive of what I'm doing, of what I'm bringing to the world, who has an issue with children, or especially my children, I'm quite happy to stay single. I'll do it all on my own, thank you very much. I don't need anyone else. I'm proud of everything I've achieved on my own. And if I'm not destined for love, and the Moon King was all in my head as part, for part of story writing purposes or anything like that, Because bearing in mind, even the dreams that I had about the grandmother tree never implicated that my destiny involved a man at the end of it. It was my teacher that said, yeah, it's like I'm fine with that. I'm fine being on my own. I've achieved all this on my own, and I'm ready to go cross that finish line on my own as well. With my sister, she's so excited. She's all happy. She's found hope again. She's got a spring in her step because she can see where it's ending for her, and she can see the finish line coming for her as well. And it's just beautiful. So when we're together, I'm going to put on a big party. We're going to have a big celebration. We're going to have karaoke. We're going to have drinks. I'm going to let myself have a few drinks. And we're going to have a big celebration for finally getting justice, but also for Amber as well. And then I'll hire myself a driver and we'll hit the road, tour the UK, wait for everything to um, get dealt with in regards to America, and then she's going to go back and sell everything up, and I'm going to apply for our visas and all that sort of thing, and then we'll get over there, and thus begins our new beginning. I'll find a place to build. Once I know where I'm going to build, I'll get my IT company and my games company set up, and then I'll get the permits and that to build a outdoor stage, an outdoor arena. And then I'll look for my musicians and choreographers and the kids, and I'll do the media circuit to let people know, hey, we're going to be in Florida, we're going to be in Texas, we're going to be in blah, we're going to be in blah. Here's the list of what we're looking for. Come along, come for the audition, record it all, put it up on my channel that the IT company will be building, put it all there for people to see, and they can watch it all being built from scratch. And then as we go along, the more I'll be able to build, the bigger the foundation will get, and within a couple of years, I should have everything I want from my my freak show burger house to my chicken barn, which is like my version of Red Rooster and KFC and all that. And then, God willing, the ultimate for me will be my space program, although I will still be designing my gaming chair, my space program, and my animal sanctuary, because I want to be able to rescue animals, all animals. Like, we'll have a menagerie in my sanctuary. We don't turn any animal away, even if it's like a raccoon or a wolf or a bear or an elephant or a tiger. So I'll rescue them from circuses, tourist destinations, and that's my ultimate goal. When I can get to the point where I've got my animal sanctuary, I'll die happy. But it's a great way to teach kids about, conservation. It will work well with my conservation program, and any kids that were maybe interested in being a zookeeper or like a veterinarian and that, they can help out all the staff to earn money, to possibly learn a trade or a skill or whatever. And we might be able to make some vets out of it, or you never know. Or take over the running of the sanctuary when I'm dead and buried. So you never know. But yeah, that's my ultimate goal. When I can get to the point where I've got my animal sanctuary, I'll die. Even if I don't have my space program, I'll have my observation tower, because I'll have my astronomy club. I'll still have my gaming chair, because it's just that it would be cool to team that up with my space program. But my animal sanctuary, that's the big goal for me. When I've got that, I know I've made it, because as a gatekeeper, as an Indigenous woman, we're responsible for the well-being of animals, children, and nature. Papatūānuku, or Mother Earth, Te Whiti, Gaia, whatever you want to call her, she's our grandmother, and it's our responsibility to look after her. And grandmother is the keeper of animals, nature, and the next generation. So yeah, that's all I care about. That's what I'm getting to. So just, my teacher, when she told me about the prophecy, said the land of Asia would welcome me with open arms, and the love of my life would be waiting for me there. So I always assumed it was America, but then I thought, oh, maybe it's Canada. You know, when I thought I was never going to get to America, when I thought I'd lost the America dream. So then I kept trying to find countries where could it be this, because that's all in A's and that's all in A's and blah, blah, blah. But no, it's going back to the beginning. But as a new person, I had to die in order to be reborn, to go back to the beginning, to be a part of the America that's about to be born after the death of the old one. So, and that starts with the removal of Trump and his bros. So I'm going to go. Have a beautiful Sunday. Sit with the Lord. I'll speak to you later. Mwah.